Our main topic is actually a little bit lighter than that one. I mean,
Well,
it's
that's good.
still pretty serious.
It is slightly connected, though.
Yeah, I mean,
No way.
it's definitely connected because it's kind of. Our main topic this week is about Hollywood whitewashing. And Hollywood tends to whitewash a lot. And actually, surprisingly,
Ridiculous.
Hollywood whitewashes, I think, Asians more than any group,
Yeah.
it seems like.
I'm looking at
Quite
a list
possibly.
of huge cases, like the top 25 huge cases, and a lot of them are Asian cases.
Well, and
where-
one of them, can I say one that I was surprised about that I didn't ever think about because he's such a big, well-known actor, but I kind of felt a little scumbaggy about it. But it's Batman. I think Batman: The Dark Knight Rises, maybe. Yeah, with Raj Al Ghul. No, Batman Begins, not The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
With Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul, which is, like Middle Eastern, obviously. Middle Eastern character was played by Liam Neeson in the movies.
And their ethnicizing of him was a mustache.
Yeah, like an kind of Middle Eastern, Asian-y.
Very racist. Like
Yeah.
what you would see in 1940s pictures of
Yeah.
Asian people mustache.
Bad.
Yeah, it was
I haven't
bad.
actually seen that one, but
It is bad. Because it would make sense. I think it's like in Nepal or Tibet or
Yeah,
somewhere
it's
in some
in-
place
yeah.
it's supposed to be. It would make sense for Ra's al Ghul to be played by an Asian actor.
Exactly.
But no, we have to have Liam Neeson. Everyone has to be white in our movies.
Exactly.
do you want to bring up the latest?
Ghost in the well, there's two of them. There's the latest ones are, for one that's happening in like a month or two, somewhere in there. Doctor Strange is, they cast the Great One, which is I think it's the Great One, an elderly Asian gentleman. I think maybe Tibetan as well. They cast Tilda Swinton, who is a white middle-aged woman, to play the Great One, who is a elderly Asian man.
Yep.
Which is weird.
They
And
made her bald.
in this, from what I understand, in this movie, that for at least some part of it takes place in Tibet or some Asian culture. There's only one actual Asian actor on the entire
Oh boy.
movie cast. There's only one Asian actor.
They're so blatant about it. It gets worse.
It does get
How
worse.
does it get worse?
Okay, so
How does Hollywood suck anymore?
in
You have no
2017, next year, and this one's like a really big deal that's been talked about a lot.
I didn't hear about it until like 2 days ago.
They are making the Ghost in the Shell movie, which is Ghost in the Shell, if you don't know, is a like late 90s, early 2000 anime movie.
So
And
Japanese.
yes, Japanese anime movie. And it's super popular. A lot of people like it. My dad even owns the movie. Like, it's pretty popular. Especially with that age group. And they cast this movie that takes place in Japan. Like, the whole movie takes place in Japan.
Wait, in Japan?
Yes,
Okay.
in
You-
Japan.
Okay, wait, you're saying Japan.
Japan. You know, like Tokyo and all
Okay,
those
I
places.
really wish you'd said a city that was not in Japan. That would have been funny.
You mean like Beijing?
Like Beijing.
Beijing, Japan.
But they cast Scarlett Johansson as the lead actress, a Asian woman.
Yeah,
They cast
a-
Scarlett Johansson.
A Japanese female character starred by a white woman.
And she's still Japanese. Like, they're not even changing that. She's
Yeah.
still Japanese.
Still a Japanese character.
Like,
Played by a white woman.
In
from
Japan.
just
America.
played by a white woman from America.
Wow.
And
it gets worse.
their answer to this was they decided to test out some software that makes Scarlett Johansson's eyes and some other background actors look more Asian.
So it makes them
This is
squinty.
real.
Yes.
This is
Oh
real.
my
This is
gosh.
happening.
That's ridiculous.
Logan and I were talking about this, and we were saying how much easier it would be just to hire people with the same ethnicity as the characters to play as the part. And we said that would be an easy solution to the problem. But then I mentioned if we just did that, there wouldn't be a problem. If we hired Japanese people to play Japanese characters, there would be no problem. The fact that they're using this experimental software to make white people look more Japanese exemplifies the fact that there is a problem and they know it. They're just trying to mask it.
Another thing with this is apparently, for the most part, there is only white people in this movie that takes place in Japan as well.
Wow. So we are investing money in racism.
Yeah. And
We have been
That's
for years.
lovely.
the whole thing is I get it, right? Like, Scarlett Johansson is gonna put butts in seats.
She is.
That's true.
She will.
It is. But the whole thing is, like, I feel like for the most part, people that aren't fans of the anime, or at least fans of anime in general, still aren't really going to go out of their way to watch this movie
Probably
just
not.
for Scarlett Johansson. Like,
But if if it goes up on Netflix, Scarlett Johansson's in it, and it says, the name of the movie, and then it says the top 3 actors, and it's Scarlett Johansson and, I don't know, Robert
Scarlett
Downey Jr.
Johansson,
and
Palou Asbeck, and Michael Pitt.
Okay, it says those 3. You're like, all right, I'll check it out. It might be decent. If it says 3 Japanese names, you're going to go, that's a foreign film, I won't be able to understand it, and you just move on.
That's
Well,
true.
that's part of the problem is America has been this huge melting pot for so many years, and we still use almost all white people in our roles, and it's not okay. And the excuse is, well, people like Scarlett Johansson are just great actresses or actors, and that's true, but there are great actors and actresses out there of different ethnicities who aren't getting a fair shake because they're like, oh, Scarlett Johansson's a big name, let's just use her.
Yeah, like, I mean,
Yeah.
Since Hollywood has been a thing, white people have dominated Hollywood, and we're not changing it by just hiring white people still, even if it gets more money.
the thing I have a problem with is movies come out fairly frequently that, that have, like, an up-and-coming actor or whatever in it. And lots of people still go see that movie without any knowledge as to whether or not this is a good actor or whatever. If you put the right director behind the camera, the right whatever you have, and you build it up with the right trailers, this, that, and the other, people are going to go see the movie regardless of what names you put on the poster.
Yeah.
Like-
When I'm sitting in the theater and the previews are showing, I'm not looking at, okay, who's in this movie? I'm looking at, does this plot look like it's garbagey or not?
Exactly.
And if
the
it
whole
looks like a good plot, I'm going to go see it
And
for the
that's
story.
the thing, right? Like, with the Netflix thing, it's not going to Netflix first, so that doesn't
Well,
matter. If the
yeah.
movie's good in theater, and people say, "Oh, that's a great movie," and then other people are like, "Oh, that sounds really good," but it might be on Netflix. I'll just wait for it then. And then it comes to Netflix. They're like, "Oh, I heard great things about this movie. I'll watch it." They're not going to look for the
Fair.
names.
Yeah. And Netflix isn't the market for movie makers. They might
Exactly.
make a couple pennies for Netflix view.
Yeah.
They just want to wow the box office. But you bring up a good point that people won't watch the movie if they just see a bunch of
'Cause
Asian names.
There's a lot of times when I'm scrolling through, and I like foreign films. I watch Swedish films and stuff all the time. But there are times when I'm scrolling through Netflix and I see a Swedish name and I go, I don't really want to watch that right now. I'd have to read the subtitles and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I just want it as background noise. I don't want to focus that much, so I just won't watch it.
Right.
And I enjoy things like that, but if you were one of those people that doesn't even like reading subtitles and only wants the English movie, which there are a lot of people, and I don't see a problem with that, then you're not going to want to look at these movies if they have a bunch of
But
ethnic...
I think the point you bring up is good in that it's kind of a cultural thing that we, as a people, if we say we want this to change,
Yeah.
we have to start watching
We
it.
have to change what we watch.
Yeah, we talked about this with women's sports in our sexism
Yeah.
episode way back in the CT days, where with women's sports, if we want more of prominence in women's sports, we have to watch women's sports. We
Yeah.
have to look for it and give it our viewing time when it's on air.
A fair shake.
Yeah, so we have to be willing to watch
And
things
it's
where we
not
don't
like we
recognize
don't-
the actors.
Sorry, it's not like we don't have the option to. Like, if you get on Watch ESPN, there's always 400 events going on. I watched the drone racing nationals last night and the wall ball world championships. Like, you can find anything on there.
Yeah.
We have an option to watch women's sports.
Yeah.
We just don't.
No.
We have an option to watch films that are not cast solely with white people. Do we, though?
Rarely.
Well,
it seems.
see, that's the thing, right? Like, there's not... If you go to the movies, there's never... A few years ago, Dragon Ball Evolution came out, which, first off, garbage movie. That movie
Shocker.
was bad. Like, I've watched that movie 3 times. Whew.
Why?
That
Why?
is a bad movie.
Why did you watch it 3 times?
Because it's so bad, it's actually kind of enjoyable. Like, it's
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
It's
I don't.
funny.
This is why I don't
Okay,
trust your
well,
tastes.
Yeah.
But,
Go on.
anyways, so Dragon Ball Evolution, you know, it takes place, I mean, it doesn't specifically take place in Japan, but it's Japanese anime.
Japanese-made.
And all the characters in the anime are obviously Japanese. And they all have Japanese names. And no one in... Well, that's not true. Master Roshi was Japanese. And another gentleman in the movie was Japanese. Everyone else, white.
Wow.
Oh, you're talking about the
that's crazy.
live action movie.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
live
the
action.
live action
It's bad.
Dragon Ball movie. Yeah.
I've seen it and it is awful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is.
It is really bad.
One that I wasn't aware of as well, apparently, the Hunger Games. Katniss and her people, like in District 13, I believe it's called. I
Yeah,
don't
something
remember.
Like that,
12.
12,
13 is
whatever.
gone.
That's the missing
Oh,
one.
that's
Yeah,
right.
whatever. I knew it was.
Come on.
yeah. Spoiler alert. It's too late
Apparently,
now.
Yeah. It's been like 4 years.
apparently they are all depicted as like darker skinned people, like
In the book?
yeah, like
Are they?
I
Yeah.
didn't even remember
I
that.
don't remember that.
they are apparently. And Collins, the writer, was super upset when they weren't planning on casting any biracial people
Wow.
for the roles.
That sucks.
She wanted biracial people, and they only had a casting call for Caucasians.
And
Wow.
it's sad because I started reading those after the movies started coming out, and so I guess if I did gloss over the part where they were supposed to be darker skinned, it was because I already had these images in my head of Katniss as a white brunette girl or
See-
whatever. And so,
Apparently Collins said to the director they are supposed to be darker skinned, straight black hair, and gray eyes. But they were all cast as Caucasian.
yes,
Huh.
almost everyone in the movie, even not just from District 12.
Yeah, like everyone.
Yeah. So
Now,
that sucks.
on the other side, though, in the Harry Potter series, Hermione was cast as an African American girl in the Broadway play recently. And people are upset because they only know Hermione as this redheaded white girl. But in the book, it never says what she is. And
It doesn't describe
it does not
her
describe
in any
her
capacity.
It does not describe her skin color or any of that. It describes that she has red hair. And I believe that on Broadway she has red hair. But that might not even be the case. But I do know that they cast her as an African American girl, and Harry Potter fans freaked out, and I see no reason for that.
I don't care.
I don't
Like,
I don't want
I don't have
diversity
an issue
for
with that.
diversity's sake, but if the character is not defined or there's no specific reason that
Well,
they need to be Asian or that they need to be African American
that's
or
the
they need
thing,
to be
right?
white,
Like,
get the best actor.
yeah.
Yeah.
If people aren't going to freak out about ScarJo playing a Japanese character, they should shut their mouths if Hermione's going to be played by a black person.
But if there's no
Yeah.
reason for it to be a Japanese character, I don't see why it can't be an African American character. It can't be
Yeah.
a Hispanic character. It can't be like
Right. If
don't make it
no
diverse for
descriptor.
diversity's sake. Like don't just be like we don't have any Asians in this movie. We need an Asian, and then just throw in a character because you feel like you need an
Yeah.
Asian person in this movie.
Yeah.
But if there's no reason, get the best actor.
Mhm.
And if they all happen to be Hispanic or they all happen to be white or whatever, oh well, as long as you're making what you want to make, the story you want to make.
Yeah. Don't be a college recruiting pamphlet where you have the Asian kid, the African American kid, the kid in the
Yeah.
wheelchair.
The token
white kid.
diversity
Yeah.
people. That's
Don't-
not
yeah,
right either.
don't do
that.
that.
doesn't
Do that.
help.
If the story takes place in Russia, probably all your characters are going to be white.
It takes
But
place
not
in
necessarily.
Germany or
Yeah,
most of Europe.
most of Europe. Yeah.
If it takes place in Japan, please use Japanese people.
Please. Come on. It's not believable.
I mean, is there anything else?
We
You...
exhausted it.
Yeah,
I think
mean,
we've talked enough about it.
I
So, like we said, this has two sides. Hollywood needs to stop sucking, but we also need to start watching stuff that is not all white people or all people of our color or whatever it is. We need to watch stuff that does every diverse people group justice.
Speaking of which, have you all seen the trailer for, or heard anything about the movie Queen of Catway? I think it's Catway.
I have no idea what you're
It
talking
released
about.
yesterday in select theaters, and it comes out this Friday in all theaters. It's made by Disney, but it's about this Ugandan girl that learns to play chess. And, like, that's her way out of the slums, is she's going to be good at chess. And it looks super good,
Wow,
and I'm excited.
that sounds cool.
That does sound cool.
It does sound cool. I'll probably wait and see it when it comes to Netflix, but
We could Redbox that.
It's Disney, it won't come to Netflix.
That's true.
Disney has a deal with Netflix.
Do they now?
Yeah.
Wow.
They have for years. They just haven't got their stuff on there yet. They made that deal years
There's some
ago.
stuff.
What?
There's some
There's a
Disney
little
stuff.
bit on
There's
there.
They're
Disney
about
Disney
to-
movies.
They have a deal that, like, I think maybe next year, I think a bunch of their stuff is going to start coming to Netflix.
About time.
Are Marvel movies dropping on Netflix?
That would be cool.
Marvel TV shows are dropping on Netflix. Only
They've
on
been on
Netflix.
Netflix for a while.
Uh,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually on Hulu.
Is it on Hulu
So is
too?
Agent Carter when that was a thing.
There are a bunch of them. Like Daredevil was a Netflix original.
Mhm.
Oh.
It was.
There's a new one out that's a Netflix original.
real quick, just wanted to say if you're a fan of flan,
If you're a flan,
If you're flan,
Flan.
if you're a fan of a CW show, they lost their deal with Hulu to release their shows on Hulu. So, they released a free app where you can watch any of their shows episodes.
Wow, that's nuts.
really?
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Wow.
free streaming app. Yeah.
Is the app free and you have to log in with your cable ID provider?
I'm not
Like a lot
altogether
of
sure. I heard it was free all around, but I'm not 100% sure.